Hey there, folks. So, last episode we did some work on our Visual Studio. Anyway, so last episode we did some work on our inventory system and we started the process of actually being able to add items to the inventory, so on and so forth. Between episodes, what I did, I'll just pull over my content browser here. I created a couple of icons and brought them into the project. And I did also add a log item type and added the icon into the mushroom item type. Now, before we can start implementing these, we do need to add our inventory component to our character. So I didn't actually launch this in Visual Studio, so I can close out of the editor. So first thing we're going to want to do, obviously, is grab our inventory component include, and then we're going to want to go to our character base class. So in this case, it's TF character. Actually, and we also going to want to grab the header for that. In the header, we want to add the include for the inventory component. And then back in the header file where we have our stat line, we're going to copy the U property, put that underneath, and we're going to go class U, actually, was this U inventory component? Yeah, just for ease, we're going to just copy that. Save any typos. Class, get rid of the U inventory component pointer, and then we're going to go inventory. And at the very bottom, where we have the blueprint callable get stat line, we're going to add the same thing for our inventory. So U inventory component pointer get inventory const and return inventory. So the whole purpose for that is this just gives us a way that we can uniquely pull off the particular character's inventory component, and from that we can make the calls to things like add item, remove item, and so forth. So now we've done that, we want to go into our character source file, and we just need to add that to our constructor. So inventory, if I could spell, equals create default sub object. Hate how that happens sometimes. Default sub object U inventory component text, and we're just going to call this inventory. So that is the very basics of what we need to do to the character. We're just going to do a quick build to make sure that we haven't added any bad code in there. And apparently it needs to do a full rebuild because we have 12 things building. So I'm going to pause the video, and as soon as this build's done, I will be back. Alright, so the build's completed. Don't actually know what was happening, but it locked up, so I actually had to restart my whole machine. But as you can see, the build executed. It took a lot of time. That's what, nearly 10 minutes. Either way, so we know all of this is working and everything we've added there. There is a couple more things we need to do. However, let's just make sure. Yeah. Okay, we've got that. So what we need to do now is, first of all, in our pickup actor and our harvest actor, just open the header files for those quickly just so we can take a look at the functionality we've added already. I'm going to close out of everything. So we've got our permanent mesh, our inventory item. So this is the item that we're going to put in the inventory. And see, right now we have this set as just a placeholder A actor. So what we need that to be is item base. And that we can just go up here again. We're just copying this for the purpose of consistency and making sure there's no typos or anything like that, because we're using a class friend reference there. So we're going to save that. And we're going to want to do the same thing in our harvest actor. Again, you can see we've got a class A actor. All right, so we've done that. Now we need to edit the source file. Sorry, my brain went blank there for a second. So we're going to start with our harvest actor and our pickup actor. We're going to start with our harvest actor because that's the mushroom that we've got, and we can just work from that and start on that one, make sure everything works, and then we can sort of copy the same logic over to our pickup actor. So as you can see, we've got some things commented out here. First of all, we need to get the inventory component. And what did we call that? So, well, I'm just going to start at the top here. I'm not going to remove it. So we want to include a reference to our inventory component header. No, I don't want the source header. I want the source file. So I'm going to grab that. And we're going to throw that up here in our include section. And we're just going to save to keep that as reference, make sure that's saved. So U inventory component pointer inventory equals caller get. Now we have an issue here. It's an incomplete class, so we need that same include. Don't need the door for the base character. So we want caller get inventory. So that's just going to return a pointer to, for now, the only thing we've got is the player character that's doing this. Further in the series, we'll have NPCs and stuff, because I do want to try and do some AI logic where NPCs can pick things up and such. But anyway, so we've got that. Now we have our add logic. So I'm going to see inventory add item to top, and that is just representing throwing this into the bag. And what do we call this item? Harvest actor base. This is the inventory item. Okay. Now we do have one issue. The way this is set up, we have an item count, and we don't have anything set on the inventory item. So what we need to do here, we're actually going to, where do we want to do that? If inventory item stack static class stack size, no, default, that was on default. Where is it? Get default object. No, okay, what is the, oh, we're not referencing the inventory item either, so we need the item base reference. So inventory item stack U item base. Oh yeah, no, that's the default. Yeah, I'm still default. Get default object stack. Get current stack does not equal item count. No, we don't need the else. So what we're going to do here, this is just some, actually we should probably put this in the, oh, where is it? Do we have a, No, we're just going to leave that in here for now. There is some cleanup. Like we were going to want to do this chunk of logic in sort of like the spawning process. So what we're saying is if the current stack doesn't equal the item count, actually, what did we default that to? Current stack equals 1. And what did we call the add to stack? Well, actually, no. We are just going to go for a basic. We're going to add multiple items to the inventory based on that. So we're going to use the logic here. Equals -1. So -1 is a control number. That is a good -1, -100, -1,000, a number that you know is not going to be an expected or acceptable response is always a good control number to use. So we know we're expecting our remaining to be anywhere from 0 to item count. So below 0, which isn't an expected number, is a control value. So if remain does not equal, oh no, sorry, if remain equals inventory add item to top, no, okay. What did we do for that? Bool, bool, bool. Okay, no, sorry, my brain wasn't working here. So int remain equals item count, while bool full equals false, while item count, remain is greater than 0 and not full. Okay, so just to run through, we have one more thing to add before we say this is good. So we have our remaining. If remain is greater than 0, we're going to keep trying to add things. And we're just adding one item each time. Again, this doesn't work perfectly with everything we've got. But like I said, we're not, like, I'm in the hybrid situation between proof of concept and sort of starting to implement everything here. So we're just putting in some very rough logic, and there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be refining, refactoring, and potentially even completely ripping out. But anyway, so what this is doing is, while we still have something in the remaining amount, and we have a Boolean value of full, which is currently false, so while we have more than one item, more than no items remaining, and we're not full, we're going to continue. Now, add item returns, we're going to go to this definition just to step through it. So if we can add it, it's going to return true. If we can't add it, it's going to return false. So what we want here is full equals the opposite of whatever is returned. So if we've added it successfully, that means we're not full yet, and this is going to return true, but we want to set full to false. Now that we've done that, we want to go if full, and The reason why we're checking full first is it's a very simple. Actually, no, we don't. If full and remain. Oh no, do we need to do that? No. So the full is just for us to drop out. And actually, we can simplify this even further quickly. I'm just going to copy that, put this in here. So we're getting rid of the need for that full Boolean because we don't actually need it other than to drop out of the while loop. So if remain greater than 0, actually no, we want remains equals to 0, then we've got update harvest state is harvested equals true, and we can return else item count equals remain. Return. So what we're doing here, I'm just going to comment this out so it's not called potentially called in any way, shape, or form, even though this return should stop it. But I would like to keep this original commented code just while we're debugging. So just to step through quickly. So we have our caller's inventory, which is going to be our player character. We have an item count, and that is how many particular items, or sorry, particular instances, I should say, of our inventory item we're wanting to add to the caller's inventory. And what we're going to do here is just a while loop. So while remain is greater than 0, meaning we still have something to add, and we successfully added the item to the inventory, decrement remain by 1. Then, if remain is equal to 0, it means we've harvested everything. We're going to update our harvest state. We're going to set is harvested to true. If it is not, then what we're going to say is our remaining item count is equal to our remaining value. And this should never be a 0 value, because that's what this this captures here. Why is that not blue? But I give up with IntelliSense. But anyways, and then we drop out. So let's do another quick build on this. Hopefully this doesn't take 10 minutes. Yeah, this one's going a lot faster. Okay, so that's worked. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to put a breakpoint on that interact. And then, what are we calling? Add item to top of inventory. So let's open that up. Add item to top. I'm going to throw that in there as well. So what this has done for us is this has set up a very rudimentary, and since we added this in the last episode, I'm thinking about how I might want to refactor all of this. Inventories I've found, and this is why I've been, as I mentioned in the last couple episodes, been very reluctant to start on it, because the inventory component has always been that one piece that has sort of fought me when trying to implement it, because there is so many different ways you can do your inventory system. There's so many ways you can implement just a particular style of inventory system. Yeah, as I mentioned in the previous episode when we set up these functions, my goal, or my intent, I should say, is I want a inventory system that simulates just throwing things into your backpack, or simulates like being a little more organized. So like if you have a can of beans that you throw into your backpack, and then you throw in a pair of socks, and then a shirt, and then another can of beans, and then a book, the way they're going to show up in your visual representation of the inventory, and I'm just trying to explain and taking advantage of this loading time here, but the way they'll visually show up in your inventory is that very first can of beans will be at the very last item in your list. the book would be the very first item, and everything in between is going to follow the reverse order of how you added them in. And that's the whole purpose for this one here, where we're putting this at the top. And then we've got this function here that lets you put it into a specific place. And then you've got this one here, which lets you add it to a existing item. Now, I just caught something in here and this going through in red. Oh, those are expected because they're pointers we haven't initialized. So that's expected. Let's bring this back up, 90% here. So scroll this back down. Now, if you're ever in a situation like this where you scrolled up to find a particular line item and you want it to continue going back to the live feed, you scroll all the way down to the bottom and click, and you just want your caret to be right underneath the last line. And you'll notice if I scroll this, oh, it won't let me because we're in this, it loaded the thing. But you'll notice now it's automatically scrolling down. If you want it to stop, just quickly put the caret someplace else, not at the very end of the log window. But anyways, so everything is set up here. I just want to check a couple of things. I'm going to pull over the content browser quick. First thing we're going to do is go into our third person character. Blueprints, BP third person character, obviously. And we want to make sure there is an inventory component on here. And you can see, yes, there is. Oh, I'm going to change my engine scalability settings because it is set to a weird value from when I was taking those screenshots or creating those icons. But anyway, so back into here. So we do have our inventory component. So the right values are changing. You can see max weight, you can see current weight, and you can see contents are 0. And you can see you can add some default items. I'm going to delete that one though because we don't want it to be there. So we're going to compile and save. Now we're going to move content browser out of the way. We're going to hit play. This is probably going to take a couple seconds to log in because it's the first time since the engine started. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, maybe I didn't have it set to medium. That looks really low quality compared to what it was previously. Anyways, we're going to run up to our mushroom, get our pickup text. We're going to hit F. Now we're in a breakpoint, so let's go hit F10. Remain equals 1. Inventory, you can see it is set to our player character. If we hit F11, it'll hop us in there. Access file. What? Why is that null? Okay, well, this is a good example of adding in some error handling to your code. So if item is valid, can we do that on item? Yeah, we can. Well, hopefully. So we're going to add that in just as a precautionary. Maybe I didn't save my blueprint from when I updated it. I never updated the mushroom blueprint. That's what that was. However, this is a good example of how you can add in some error handling. And then, so to do add error logging for invalid item. So right there, that is something you can add in. It's a precautionary thing. It's like, okay, if the item isn't valid, just say it didn't work. So we're going to restart the editor. This should launch almost instantly because we had that one minor code change, and we've launched the editor already since we recompiled. And you can see it moves very fast. And I will check the mushroom blueprint just to make sure. So move this over so you guys can see what I'm doing. Blueprints, dev, because I realized I never actually added that to our harvest test. As you can see, inventory item is none. Now I'm just going to move this off the screen. Hey, thank you. Apparently it also minimized the game of the main editor window. Why are you being so slow and unresponsive? 7 gigs, but almost zero CPU usage. Like, what is going on? There we go. I'm going to move the content browser out of the way. I'm going to expand the editor again, and we're going to play quickly because I want to make sure that is valid we just added actually catches that, because that's the last thing you want, is something like that happening in your final game. It's going to cause things to crash. You don't want your game to crash. So let's walk over, hit F to interact. So we're going to go down, hit F11, hop in. So you can see here, item is a null pointer. We've returned false. Okay. Remained equals 0 still. Sorry, equals 1. We're good. That worked. So we'll just hit continue. Okay, we no longer have a bug. Things still carry on in the editor. So drop out of the play and editor session. We're going to bring back our blueprint. And just over in the content browser, actually I'm going to just bring this over. Consumables. We're going to select our mushroom 01. And then over here, just click that. And you see it adds it to it. Compile and save. I'm going to move this over one more time. We're going to play one more time. And actually what I'm going to do, because I'm expecting this to work. No, I don't want to. Thank you. Character. Select you. We're going to go down to our inventory. Oh, we have it as edit default only, so yeah, it's not going to show. Either way, let's pick up the mushroom. So item count remaining is 1. We're going to go in. Item is now a particular item. It's no longer null. So item weight equals, it should be 2.5, I think we set for this. One. I'll have to check that because this might not be returning because it's get default object. If it's over the carry weight, why are we returning false there? Okay, so we're going to stop here a second. We're going to open up our default mushroom. Oh no, item weight is 1. So we're going to go, I'm going to change that to 2.5. Compile and save. It's copper bar that was 2.5. That's why. Okay, so is harvested item count. Okay, everything there is good. We can close out of that. I'm going to try this again. Just actually before that, I'm going to hop back into Visual Studio. Go to definition. Go to definition. I'm going to add a breakpoint there as well. Run over to our mushroom. Pick it up. So hit that. We're just going to hit continue. Item weight. We can see it's 2.5 now. Do I have my logic wrong there? Because it didn't hop into it. Current weight is 0. Yes, I have this backwards. So if we're over, because you can see here, is over carry weight. This is one of those ones where the naming convention is actually very clear on what we're expecting, but the response is inverted. So we actually want to go return true and return false. So we'll try this again. We're just going to launch the editor. This shouldn't take too long. We only inverted a Boolean response. Yep. pull that over. All right, we'll try this one more time. Wakey, wakey, editor. All right, there we go. Apparently I've exhausted my video memory. I've just got something running on a GPU that it shouldn't be, but because there's nothing in here that should be using that much video memory. Okay, pick up the mushroom. I'm going to hit continue there because I know that works. So now this should go through. There we go. We're adding it in. We're adding the item to index 0. Inventory contents is now 1 with a max of 4. That should keep expanding that for us though. You can see we have our mushroom in there in the first place. Current weight remains minus, remains now 0, so we've dropped out of the while loop. If remains equals 0, we're updating harvest state. We're setting harvested as true, and we're done. So we'll hit continue. Now the mushroom is gone. As before, all of our collision and everything is gone. There's no trigger for our interaction text. I'm going to take a quick look at our character and see if the current weight updated. Our current weight updated just because of optimization for whatever reason. Where's our inventory component? This wasn't correctly showing when we got to this return point. A lot of things get optimized out through garbage collection and stuff like that. But hopping back into the editor, you can see current weight is 2.5. So now I want to make one more change just so we can actually see the inventory contents. So we're going to go into our inventory component header, and right now, so just as before, but right now you can see it's edit defaults only. To do change back to edit defaults only, and we're going to set this to edit anywhere, or is it everywhere? Edit anywhere. Visible anywhere, edit anywhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at one point one was visible everywhere and the other one was edit everywhere. Oh, like they had opposite ones, so they probably fixed that, or my memory just sucks. So we've made that one change. We are now going to hop back in. We are going to do a live compile quickly, just because that is a minor change. See if this actually registers. 4 actors. TF character is one of them. Sorry, those aren't. Let's harvest actor. Yeah, we're good on that. I'm not sure why you're changing it, but oh well. Character. Oh, I don't know if that actually worked. So we'll just quickly see. 3rd person character. Scroll down to our inventory. Yes, it did. So, okay, we're going to run over, pick up our mushroom. I'm just going to continue through all of these. Continue. And now you can see, get my cursor back on the main screen. If we expand our inventory contents, you can see at index 0, we have a mushroom. Now, we have no visual aspect for this yet. We do still have some work to do before we can get a UI component put together. I will warn you in advance, the UI is not going to be pretty. At this stage of things, I never worry about making the UI look good. It's going to be a case of it functions. Again, that goes back to if you actually watched my intermission episode, the first one, I should say, because I do have more of those planned, that don't worry about, that's why it keeps resetting to that, because I'm not closing the editor properly. Anyways, don't worry about making your project look beautiful right at the start. your project will probably look like somebody slapped makeup on a pig for quite some time before it starts looking good. And the reason being is you want to worry about the functionality of the game. You want to make sure your code is solid, your blueprints are solid before you worry about making things look pretty. In all honesty, there's only one game, at least, that I have seen that has succeeded using the opposite approach of we want to make it look pretty and then make sure it works, and that was The Forest. For anyone who's played that, and one of the reasons for that is the guys behind The Forest, from my recollection, and I may be incorrect here, but my understanding is the guys who created The Forest are visual effects artists first and programmers second. So, and that's not to say The Forest is a bad game. I love it. I have hundreds of hours into it. So, anyways, folks, so that is going to be the end of episode 25. We have got it, so we are now actually storing items in our inventory. Next episode, we're going to be making sure our inventory saves. That's probably going to take up all of next episode, so that's going to be what? This is episode 25? Yeah, this is episode 25. 26 is going to be making sure it saves, and 27 should be the UI visual aspect of things. So, as always though, folks, any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I try to respond to everything that goes in there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.